Now the forces we might want to add don't have to be at right angles, we can still apply the rules just the same. So to do an example like this, first of all we choose a suitable scale, and I think, look at the size of the page and the size of the forces, I think to have 1 millimetre representing 10 newtons would be a suitable scale. So it makes sense to look at where the forces are going, and the forces are going to the left and downwards. So it therefore makes sense that we start our diagram somewhere up on the right hand side towards the top of the page. So there's a suitable starting point. So we've got to draw our first force, and I'm going to find it easy to start with the 800 because that's just horizontal. So I draw the line, 800 newtons, 1 millimetre is 10 newtons, so I draw a line 80 millimetres long. Put the arrow on the end, there's our 800 newtons. And remember the rule, where the first arrow ends for the first force, that's where we start the arrow for the second force. And the second force is 500 newtons, and it's at an angle of 60 degrees measured down from the horizontal. So if I put the protractor with the centre on the end of the first arrow, and I want to measure from the horizontal down 60 degrees. So I'm using the numbers on the inside, and the 60 degrees is there. So that's the direction. The force I'm trying to represent is 500 newtons, so I need to draw a line in this direction that's 50 millimetres long. So of course I put the arrow on the end. So that's the 500 newtons. And as before, how do we find the resultant? Well, the resultant is the single arrow that takes us from the start direct to the finish. So I draw that. So there's the resultant force. And if I measure that, it's 113 millimetres. So I'll multiply that by 10, 1130 newtons. If we were asked to find the direction of the resultant, we'd measure it, and we just have to choose a convenient reference level. And it makes sense that we give the angle measured from the horizontal. So I'd measure that angle, which is about 23 degrees below the horizontal.